Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Best on Wellbeing podcast. My name is Guillaume Tremblay, and in this episode, we'll be going a little bit deeper into the idea of self-compassion and just review two specific things I wanted to discuss that I thought would be good to build upon the previous episode. But first, I just want to just say a little shout out to everybody. At the time of this recording is the day I released the introductory episode, and just my goodness, it's been such a warm welcoming for this launch of this podcast, and so much positive feedback, and just so grateful for everybody's encouragement, and really makes it a delight to do this work and put out this content. And I really hope people will truly find it useful, as the introductory said, and be able to apply it into their day-to-day lives, and ultimately together, everyone individually and collectively, we can increase our well-being and decrease our suffering. So in terms of self-compassion, in the last episode, one thing I wanted to mention that I didn't get to was the idea of sometimes when we want to put in sort of better habits in our lives or make some changes, we believe that it's important to kind of like kick ourselves in the butt and kind of like, come on, like, let's go. You can do this, and have a tough stance on ourselves, as though that will produce the results. And I really don't believe that works. It might work for a little bit. It might work for a little while, that, you kick yourself in the butt to, go for that walk you've been meaning to go every night, or things like that. But usually, changes in our day-to-day habits that are helpful to our overall well-being come when there is space, when there is usually a more calm energy, a sort of more peaceful approach to our lives, that there's more space for new things to emerge. And so when we have self-compassion and we truly practice the three pillars of self-compassion, we're not actually sacrificing, like, getting things done, being productive, or taking care of things we've been putting off. It's not like we're sacrificing, like, I'll have compassion now for myself, but nothing will get done. It's not really like that. In fact, there's more energy. You're a bit more lighthearted. There's a bit more flow that you can, I'm going to do that thing I've been putting off, and, move on from one to the next. If you have a really good teacher who has enormous compassion for the limitations and strength of their students in their class, it doesn't mean they don't impose a certain discipline. In fact, you'll find these classes have good routines, good discipline. Same thing with parenting. You can have great compassion and love and kindness for your children, at the same time put boundaries and certain discipline. And it's the same thing with ourselves. When we're kind and understanding to ourselves, the first pillar, it doesn't mean we're sacrificing moving forward in a better direction. So I don't really think kicking ourselves in the butt is really an effective approach in terms of implementing things into our day-to-day lives that we know would be helpful to, whether it's our physical health or mental health or spiritual, emotional health. Whatever that thing that you've been thinking about that you want to start doing on a regular basis, start with being kind and understanding to yourself and see what happens. So again, to review, we talked about kindness and understanding as the first pillar, just to really cultivate an attitude of kindness and understanding towards yourself. Number two, shared humanity. Whatever your challenges are, it's a human challenge, not a you challenge. And remembering that we're all in it together, that many folks are going through similar challenges, can sort of make it less of a you thing or a me thing, and make it a human experience that we have to navigate. And the third pillar, which is kind of what I want to talk about today, is, we talk about bringing mindfulness to our negative emotions. And that's really tricky. I did a previous post a while back about the Tara Brach technique of RAIN, to recognize the negative emotions, to assess the emotion. To accept the emotion. You accept it, then you kind of investigate it curiously, where is it, all of that stuff, and then nurture it with self-compassion. So that's a nice breakdown that I think a lot of people find useful. But I just kind of want to give my little take, and it's actually quite challenging to do that when we have a negative emotion. But just to kind of explain, kind of reenact it. But if when we're having a negative emotion, there's a lot of thoughts that come with it. And sometimes, some people have it in the stomach, some people will have it in the chest, the shoulders, headaches. It can manifest in the body in many different ways for many people when we have particularly sort of acute negative emotions. But the way forward in terms of being kind to ourselves is actually to feel it fully. And it's easy. I know it's easy to say and not do it. I'm certainly in that camp with everybody else, that when I am sort of overtaken by negative emotions, to do what I'm talking about now is certainly not easy. So I don't want to sell it as easy, but it's certainly effective and more efficient. And there's a certain sense of empowerment when we work through it carefully, and then we see the negative emotion release quicker than it normally does. It's very, good feeling. It's a very empowering feeling, but it's a very kind of bit of a dance, because let's say, the stomach, I'm going to use the stomach. It's like your stomach's very tight for whether it's anxiety or, some sort of negative emotion that's happening. And the mind has all these different stories of why you're having this, and it's negative story, and it's feeding the negative feeling in your body. And as kind of a funny way to say it is that you got to move out of the head and into the body, that all your attention, all your focus is on feeling as much of it with as much detail as you possibly can. And the subtlety to it is to not wish it away. That's really the trick here, is to feel it fully and deliberately, kindly not wish that feeling away. And it's a very subtle, it's nuanced, because at one point, you're doing it, okay, I saw that podcast, I'm feeling this negative emotion, it's so uncomfortable, I'm accepting it. So why is it not going away yet? It's like, is this should be working? And so it can, the back door can creep in of saying like, okay, well, I've accepted it. Now it's still not going away. What? So you kind of hang with it till it let go of you. The analogy I'll give is, again, I like to use the sort of the scared child analogy. You find the kid, you find a scared child somewhere in the mall, lost their mother, and you're holding the child, and okay, that's enough of I've reassured you enough now. Time for you to go. And no, of course not. Okay, it's okay. Little one, we're gonna find your, we're gonna find your mother. It's okay. And you just hang out until the child relaxes and lets go of you, because it's got what it needed. And those negative emotions are like that in our body. The more we kind of reject them, the more they hang on, because they want our attention. Your negative emotions in your body are kind of like a scared child. They need reassurance, they need attention, and they need to not be wished away. And then you do that and you hold that. And it's about in the way, and you got to feel it, let go of the story that's associated with the negative emotion. Just feel it fully until, and nurture it, and even say, it's okay for you to be here. It's okay for you to be here. You can be here as long as you want. Okay. You're good the way you are. And I even appreciate, weird to say, even I appreciate you, things like that. And then when the time is right and your emotional body feels ready, it lets go of you. So we'll come back to that one. It's also kind of called a surrender practice, but this is a deceivingly powerful practice that can be very helpful to our well-being. So the third pillar is a tricky one, but with a bit of practice, we can all learn to be a bit more effective at letting go of those negative emotions by bringing a very kind of keen awareness and not wishing it away. So that's it for today. Let's give that a try if ever you're taken in by some negative emotions. Again, thanks for all the viewers out there, friends, family, colleagues, work colleagues. Thank you so much for all the encouragement to this podcast. It's so appreciated. I hope everybody has a good day. We'll catch you next time.